Hi, it's Kristin from Magoosh here. I'm having a really terrible day. I have a cold. There is this construction outside the window, maybe a lawnmower, I don't know. The kid behind me is kicking the back of my seat like a banshee, and there is this glare bouncing off this lacquered desk next to me that's basically burning my retina, so I probably can't see the questions anyway. Basically, this is like the super suckiest test day ever. Sound familiar? Hopefully you've never had a test day quite that bad before, but we're all pretty familiar with that situation of things not going exactly how you plan on test day. So the way that you can avoid these things completely ruining your test day, like my test day was just ruined there, is to do two things. One, be prepared, and two, be flexible. So let's talk about what you can do to be prepared first. And tip number one for that is to make a checklist. Make a list of all the things that are required, like your test entrance ID, or your test entrance ticket and your ID, and all the things that I think should be required, like high energy snacks, your calculator for sure, a watch, a sweatshirt, or a jacket in case that test room is really cold, and put it all on the list, lay it out all the night before so you are not panicking the morning of the test when you can't find something. The last time I went to an administration of the ACT, there was a girl who didn't have her ID, just a picture of it on her phone, and she got sent away to drive home an hour, not to take that ACT that day, to take it again in a couple months. That's terrible. Don't let that happen to you. Make sure you have everything that you need the night before. The second thing you can do to not ruin your test day is to go early, but not too early. Okay, so you've probably heard before that you should leave plenty of time to drive to the testing center in case you get lost or something happens. So that's definitely true. However, I also suggest that you don't go too early because that just allows a lot of time for sitting there and for the nerves to kick in. But, you know, you gotta allow that time. You never know how much time it's gonna take. So when you do get there early, make sure that's not what you're doing. Don't join that pile of anxiety-provoking students that is slowly building at the door of the testing center. Know what you're going to do. Maybe it's going to be doing some breathing exercises in your car to relax. Maybe it's going to be taking a brief walk around the block. Maybe it's popping in your headphones and listening to one of your favorite songs. Find something that's going to keep you mellow and make sure that you make good use of that time when you're at the test center in the morning. The third thing is to have a game plan. This is the most important tip I can give to students. I am constantly encountering students who just tell me that they felt super prepared until the nerves kicked in on Saturday morning and everything just went completely out the window. They reverted to every bad testing habit they've ever had. So one thing you can do to help avoid this is to make a game plan. Make what I call a cheat sheet. It should be about a half size of a paper. Don't make an entire booklet full of teeny tiny notes. Those won't help you. Don't take this into the testing center because you really can't have it with you, but have it in the car or outside the building. Review it. This should be a list of reminders, things like don't get the area and the circumference of a circle confused, or remember to check your watch at the end of each science section. These are the most important things that you learned in your test prep and your practice tests that you need to remember. And then before you start each section, mentally review that list. Having this in front of you is such a good reminder the morning of the test that you do actually in fact know what you're doing, because you do and you're prepared, and you won't let the nerves take over that way if you have it all right in front of you. And finally, tip number 4 is to be flexible, yet to still advocate for yourself. So be flexible. Okay, so you need to be prepared for the unexpected. But that's hard to do if you've only had perfect testing situations at home. So this is why I always recommend that whenever possible that you go and take practice tests in a situation with other students, preferably with a proctor as well too. So maybe there's free practice tests at your school or free practice tests at a test prep center that you can take advantage of, or at the very least go to the library and take a test around other people. This helps ensure that that kid blowing his nose next to you or that lawnmower outside the window is going to be a distraction that you can deal with because you've probably dealt with some distractions that way in your test prep before. But I also think it's really important that you advocate for yourself. Sometimes as students, we just think that we need to listen to whatever that teacher or the proctor in front of us says and just be quiet and won't speak up for ourselves if something is wrong about that testing situation or you just get nervous within that situation. So that doesn't mean that you should, make a big scene in your testing center, but between breaks or during the test, raise your hand and ask the proctor if something's bothering you, if an open window is distracting you, if there are open seats and you need to be moved to another seat so you can see the clock more clearly. Just ask. Hopefully they'll be able to help you. They might not, in which case see plan B, which is to be flexible. But if they can help you, it can make a world of difference if you just speak up for yourself, advocate for yourself if there's something wrong that can be fixed. So that's it for this episode of TuesdACT. I hope these tips will help you have a great TuesdACT next time you take the test.